Welcome to Girls and Math, a unique blend. I am Raina Bonso, a 6th grader at Castilleja School. Do you love math? Whether you do or don't, I want to inspire girls to enjoy math and not to find it as a hard subject by hosting a videocast series. Welcome back. Today I will be interviewing Miss Greyson, a computer science teacher at Castilleja School. Miss Greyson, it is a pleasure for you to be here today.
Thank you for inviting me, Raina.
So first, to get our audience to get to know you a little bit, could you please tell me a little bit about yourself? Where did you grow up and your favorite memory from middle school?
Okay, I was born in Southern California, but my family moved to Indiana when I was about 6. So I went to elementary school and middle school and part of high school in northern Indiana. And then I moved in my senior year, just for my senior year, to a school in Illinois. And then I came back out to the West Coast to go to school.
So, what's your favorite memory from middle school?
You know, I actually had kind of an unhappy middle school experience. I was bullied, and that was really hard. And so I was sad a lot. High school was much better. I found a group of friends who I enjoyed, and they enjoyed me, and so I was able to put it behind me. But I think probably my math classes were my favorite memory from middle school.
Yeah, I think that hard middle school experience was probably really tough. So then, if you had a hard middle school experience, then was when you got interested in math, was that also in middle school?
No. So I remember from a very early age liking to count things. So I would have like a penny collection and I would lay them all out in a line and I would count them. I'd count all kinds of different things. And then I remember elementary school when we were doing arithmetic, and we got our first calculator in our house. So that was a big deal back then. And I would do all my arithmetic homework and then I would check my answers using the calculator. It was really fun. So I think what got me interested in math in the first place was probably just liking arithmetic and counting. And then I had family members who were very mathematical and scientists. And so I had a lot of people around me who liked that as well.
So you talked about how your family is like super mathematical. So what was your inspiration to pursue computer science and not math and to work in a tech field?
Interesting. Well, so maybe this is interesting. I would not go near a computer when I was in high school. Even though I had family members who were encouraging me, I was not in the least bit interested. And I think I just wasn't ready for it because when I got to college, my father in particular encouraged me to take a computer science course. He thought I would really enjoy it. And I was skeptical, but I finally said, okay, I'll do it. And I took my first computer science course in college and really enjoyed it. So that was where it all started. I wasn't planning on studying math. I knew I was going to take math courses in college, but I wasn't planning on majoring in it.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed math. It got harder after arithmetic for sure. And then as far as what got me through the whole program, is a very, very challenging college program to be in, especially at a place like UC Berkeley, which is where I got my degree. But I had my older brother and his wife worked at Apple Computer. And his wife in particular, my sister-in-law, made it sound like a really cool, fun place to work.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to work at Apple when I graduated. So I think knowing that I was maybe going to wind up in this really fun, cool place doing interesting, important stuff was very motivating for me to get through the program.
So, do you think math is a part of computer science, or is computer science a part of math?
Oh my goodness. I think math, I would say mostly math is a part of computer science. I mean, math started first. And particularly the way that I teach computer science here at Castilleja, we do a lot with computer graphics, and mathematics and computer graphics are very interrelated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you kind of just talked a lot about like how math comes up when teaching computer science, and you've you've been teaching computer science and have been a computer science department chair for the last several years.
Mm-hmm.
So what other way do you find that math can also like come up in computer science, not other than like graphics and stuff?
Other than graphics, there are questions about um, how efficient or how optimal certain algorithms are in different situations, and so those types of topics are related to mathematics as well. If you study computer science in college, you may find yourself writing proofs, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So lots of other places, not just computer graphics.
Okay. So you did talk about how you were bullied in middle school. So when growing up in middle school in particular, did you face any stereotypes about girls in STEM?
I don't remember facing any stereotypes of that sort. As I said, my family was very encouraging. They would have liked nothing better than for me to be playing at the computer all through my high school years. And they were very proud when I went into computer science in college, although also a bit skeptical. What I did run into, at least at that time, and it was a different time, was a kind of discouragement of showing intelligence. And I remember very clearly being told not to use such big words when I was talking. It was almost as though the expectation was that I would dumb down to make myself more appealing and less threatening to other people. So it was not STEM specifically where the stereotypes were, but it was this idea that girls shouldn't be or shouldn't show themselves to be too smart.
Yeah. So then, since you didn't really face any STEM stereotypes when growing up, in your teaching career, have you seen any stereotypes girls has faced?
I think I see girls who haven't taken any computer science yet, so they tend to be ninth graders. They've either come up through the middle school here or they're new nines coming from other middle schools, and they don't think they're going to like computer science. And I think part of that may be because they don't see a lot of people who look like themselves in computer science. I'm happy to say that quite a few of those girls who thought that they wouldn't like it took a computer science course and decided that they did. So I think there may be some self-imposed, internalized stereotypes, but I don't see very much, not here, and I know it happens, but I just haven't personally seen that much where somebody's been like the victim of somebody else's stereotyping.
Yeah. So how do you think girls should be taught when coming up from middle school to be prepared for high school for computer science and to find your love kind of in middle school to kind of pursue more computer science?
Yeah, so you're saying like it would be great if we could get them started earlier, right? Yeah. I think we have a wonderful program here, a making and coding program, and Ms. Rigby is in charge of that program, and I think that she's doing a great job with that program.
Agreed.
Good. So you know her, making like the robot petting zoo. I think that's a wonderful way to get started. It's creative and it's playful, and you can explore through that program. I think that's a great way to get everybody, not just girls, but girls and boys interested in computing at an early age. Is make it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of already talked about inspiring girls to study some subjects, but what do you think is the best way other than starting earlier? Because let's say the ninth graders who didn't come from a middle school that start a lot earlier with computer science.
Right.
What do you think is the best way to inspire them?
So we're talking about girls who have not come through our middle school program.
Yeah.
Okay. I think for me, seeing ways that I can be creative with computer science, seeing how I can make stuff, make like a lot of the projects that we do in the first course here at Castilleja are games and interactive types of things. So being able to control the computer to make it do what you want it to do, especially if other people then can use it and enjoy it as well. I think that's a good way for a lot of folks to get interested in it, is seeing the applications and seeing that they can, they can bend it to their will.
Yeah. So, kind of the big question, why is it important for girls to learn computer science?
I think it's important for everybody to learn computer science.
Yeah.
So computing is like our civilization now is very much dependent on computing technologies. And I think to be responsible citizens, we should probably know how these things work, at least at a high level. I think there's a lot of positive impact that computing can have, and also a lot of negative impact that it can have. And the more that we know about how it works, the more that we can be in control of its impacts, as opposed to being victimized or subjected to its impacts. So I think just as we want to know like how our own bodies work and to keep them healthy, I think we want to know how computers work so we can keep the impact of computing healthy as well.
So, since we're talking about computing too, AI is definitely a big thing in our everyday life.
Yes.
So, could you talk a little bit more about AI and math and how they're related?
Well, I went through my computing program way before we got generative AI. I think AI is here to stay.
Yeah.
Obviously it has a lot of mathematical content, a lot of statistics. I did not study it myself. I have not taken a course in artificial intelligence.
Yes.
We are about to offer a course here in artificial intelligence. I am actually turning that over to the new computer science teacher that we've hired. So she's going to teach that, and she has a background in data science, so I'm expecting that's going to be a really good course. So I think AI has great potential to make our lives much, much better.
Yes.
And I think there are also a lot of potential pitfalls, misinformation being a big one. So I think we're going to have to grapple with these challenges, going forward. Like how do we make it work for us as humans and make it work for the world?
Yes.
And I don't know. It's a very challenging problem. I hope people like you will figure it out.
Thank you. So you did talk a little bit about you wanting to work at Apple, and I've read that you received a patent while working at Apple. Could you please explain what a patent means and why did you get it?
Yes. So first of all, it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
It was a team of 4 or 5 people, and so I played a role, but it was probably a smaller role than some of the other people did. Fun fact is when you get a patent, if there are multiple people who worked on the invention, the names are listed in alphabetical order. So I'm first on the patent by virtue of the fact that my last name is Greyson and the other people's last names come after G. So just FYI, I cannot say that it was like, oh, I was the biggest contributor to the patent.
Yeah.
So what is a patent? A patent is basically a way to protect an invention so that other people can't use it, can't sell it, can't claim it for their own without permission. So it's to encourage basically people to invent things because they can own them for some period of time, use their inventions in whatever way they would like. So the patent that we earned, it was a way to manipulate text, like in a text document, in a very visual fashion. So this was years and years ago when graphical user interfaces were kind of new. They'd been around for a while, but they were still, like now we all take it for granted. But at the time it was kind of new to interact with a program visually, like to click something and drag it into the trash can or move it around on the screen. That was kind of new. And so we were looking to kind of push that paradigm of visual interaction with the screen. And so this patent was a technique for like almost lifting a piece of text, like a sentence, off of the text document and moving it with the cursor to another place. putting it someplace else. So it was pretty cool. I'm not sure if it was practical, but it was definitely an interesting thing to work on, and it was new enough that it warranted a patent. So we got a patent.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite topic or concept in computer science or math?
Yeah, so this is kind of an extension of what I was just talking about.
Yeah.
I like thinking about ways that human beings can interact with programs in a very intuitive fashion. So things like designing human interfaces, and then like figuring out whether those interfaces are working well for people or not, and then collecting that feedback and then iterating on that feedback. So it's not necessarily programming heavy, it is design heavy, but it's related to computing in that it makes computing more accessible to people. So the easier it is to use a program, the more accessible it is.
Yeah, so could you just talk, you kind of hinted on this when you were just talking, but could you talk about the process that takes after you've completed, like after you've created something, what's the process after that?
You mean if you're working on a product that you want to ship?
Yeah, like a product, like.
Well, so you mean like if I were making, you know what Microsoft Word is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like if I were building that as a product and then I wanted to sell it?
Yeah.
And then what happens after it's built? How do you get it out into the world?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, nowadays, this might be helpful. So one of the courses that I teach here at Castilleja is an iPhone programming course. So this is just one example of how you get your product out into the world. You build your application. Usually people use something called Xcode, and they build the application in a language called Swift. And they test it out on people and make sure that it has no bugs and that people know how to use it and they're enjoying using it. And then you go through this process of submitting it to what's called the App Store. You've probably experienced the App Store before. Yeah, you've downloaded applications from it to your iPad or your iPhone. So you submit to the App Store, and then human beings actually look at it and decide if it's okay to be in the App Store or not, if it's safe, if it works. And then once it's in the App Store, then it's up to you or somebody to get word out that it's available. And once that happens, then people can go to the App Store and they can download what you've built. So that's one way to do it. But there are other products that are released through the web. There are other products that are actually purchased in like a box. You actually go to a store and you buy it. That doesn't happen quite as much anymore, though.
Yeah.
It's mostly through the web or through an app store of some sort, whether it's an iPhone or whether it's an Android. You're going to need to go to an app store to get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to end off this interview with these last two questions, I wanted to ask, what is your favorite math joke or riddle?
I love that question. So I brought something along, and you tell me if what you think of this joke.
There are 10 types of people, those who know binary and those who don't.
Do you get it?
Oh yeah, because 0 and 1 is like the binary. That's a funny one.
You can keep that.
Oh, thank you.
I'm glad you like it.
That's really funny, yeah.
Good.
So to end off with this last question, I wanted to ask, who is your favorite STEM role model and why?
Yes, so Ada Lovelace is my favorite. She was the poet Lord Byron's daughter, and she is credited with having published the first computer algorithm. And I love the fact that she loved math and computer science, although it wasn't called computer science at that time, but computing. She loved math and computing. She was interested in machines. She was interested in learning about things that take work to learn. Like things, sometimes it's hard to learn things. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that. It's just some things are harder to learn than others, and she really liked working hard to learn new things. So I admire that, and that's why she is my role model.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming
Thank you for having me.
this interview. I really appreciate it.
I really enjoyed myself. Thank you very much, Raina.
Thank you.